Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be talking about Nexon, Blizzard, and the StarCraft IP and the Overwatch IP as well. We are on MTM today. This is a Korean news site, and I'm currently using the translate feature on the website, so some of this might be slightly weird because it is a direct Korean to English translation, and sometimes that doesn't work, but it should be at least enough to get the gist of it considering this story. This is written by So Jin-kun Kyun, a journalist. Thank you for the article. I'll link it down in the description if you would like to check it out for yourself, but also just a reminder, it is in Korean originally, so you are going to need to translate it. So the title goes, Nexon, Blizzard, and StarCraft IP collaboration. So I don't know what this is supposed to be. Like I said, it is a direct translation, so I'm not entirely sure what this is supposed to be. Have Overwatch M, which I'm pretty sure is also just a mistranslation. Overwatch IP as well, I'm pretty sure. So the selected as the priority negotiator at the end of the competition with leading domestic game companies developing of content utilizing StarCraft IP, Overwatch also includes Korean and Japanese copyrights. So I'm pretty sure this is them licensing the StarCraft and Overwatch IPs from Blizzard, that is Nexon, to do that. To either develop a new game or a partner in Korea specifically for Blizzard. Before we get deeper into the article, I'd like to remind everyone, please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it if you do. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. Once we do, I'll be doing a Q&A video. So if you're interested in that, please subscribe. Comment down below what you guys think about this whole Nexon working with Blizzard and using the StarCraft IP and the Overwatch IP as well. Let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. Nexon is working with Blizzard to develop content using StarCraft IP. It is also possibly to secure the rights to the Korean and Japanese services of Overwatch and Mobile. After fierce competition with leading domestic game companies, the collaboration with Blizzard has been virtually confirmed. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see what Nexon does with this, because the Overwatch mobile game is being made by Blizzard, if I know correctly, and it's not a direct port from what I know. It might actually be a new Overwatch game for mobile, which would be interesting. And who knows what they want the StarCraft stuff to do with. But if there's any company that I can slightly trust, it is at least a Korean company, because StarCraft is so beloved in Korea that even though it is Nexon, and I'm not sure if I trust Nexon as a whole, I might trust Nexon a little bit more than I trust current Blizzard, at least. So I don't know. It's an iffy situation when it comes to that, but I am also a huge StarCraft fan, and any new StarCraft game I'd be probably down for. I'll be honest. I am a StarCraft simp. I'll fully admit that. I am a fanboy of StarCraft, and I'll probably play whatever they make, whether it be a free-to-play game or a paid game. So I mean, I am incredibly biased. So have that with a grain of salt. StarCraft's IP, destructive power, and nostalgia in the interest of Overwatch IP, the latest work in the IP was added. The domestic top-tier developers such as Nexo and C and Netmarble competed. Nexon won and selected as the priority negotiator, and this is the first time Blizzard has collaborated with domestic game companies. It is true. I don't remember them ever doing anything like that in Korea. They do stuff like that in China, but generally that's because it's a completely different market. I'm pretty sure that's required. But this is the first time I think they've done it outside of the Chinese market. According to the Money Today broadcast MTN coverage on the 28th, Nexon was selected as the priority negotiator of Blizzard and entertained into the main negotiations related to the StarCraft IP collaborations and the Korean and Japanese distribution rights of Overwatch Mobile. Yes. I mean, the Overwatch mobile game is coming out. That is like a thing that is going to be coming out later. But the thing I'm personally interested, I mean, to be fair, I'm also interested in the Overwatch mobile just because of curiosity. But a new StarCraft game in with like them having it in the negotiations for StarCraft specifically means something, I hope. I mean, it could just be a nothing burger. It could be, but I don't think it is. And it's also a Korean company, and StarCraft does really well in Korea, especially Brood War. StarCraft 2 is kind of hit or miss in Korea, but Brood War is still a huge game in Korea specifically. So I'm curious what they're going to do with it. Because I mean, StarCraft Remastered already exists, so I don't know what they could do with it. And I don't even think a StarCraft 3 right now is a good timing, because first of all, starting working on StarCraft 3 right now might be a good timing, because it's not going to come out for another potentially 3 to 5 years. Because I think you need more time. And the problem is that I don't think free to play really works in RTS. I mean, it kind of works, but I think the problem is that the only RTS players left right now are the hardcore multiplayer players, but there isn't enough of those players, and they're not going to leave their game. Like the people who play StarCraft 2, the people who play Age of Empires 2, the people who play Brood War, they're not leaving their game. Like they might go over and play a different game for a little bit, but eventually they will return to the game that they've played for 10 years plus. Like they're not leaving. So you need to find new players, and that's the biggest problem, because RTS is a tough genre to try to get new people to play, especially if it's a paid game. So free to play might be the option, but I think it's really hard to make a free to play RTS game. There are some companies trying to do it right now, but I'm not entirely sure if they're doing it correctly, but who knows at this point. Blizzard has been bidding for the right to develop content using StarCraft IP and the Korean and Japanese service rights of Overwatch Mobile. Blizzard has been bidding for the right. What does that mean? I think this might be a mistranslation. I wonder, what do you mean? I wonder what they mean by bidding. That doesn't make sense to me. That might be a translation error. And the Korean Japanese service rights of Overwatch Mobile as a package deal for the leading game companies in Korea since the fourth quarter of last year. In addition, Nexon, NC, and Netmarble actively participated in the bidding. Okay, so I think what this means is that they were Blizzard themselves when bidding, they were opening the bid for other companies in Korea. I think that's what they mean. Because obviously Blizzard doesn't need to do that to make games of their own IPs. So yeah, the influence of StarCraft IP on the Korean game market, the still standing nostalgia, and the interest in the latest installment in Overwatch series has been fiercely contested by domestic game companies. It's true. The StarCraft IP is dominant in Korea, and Overwatch was one of the few games to beat League of Legends and StarCraft in the gaming and game cafes in Korea, which is unheard of. StarCraft, Brood War, and League of Legends dominates the PC cafes in Korea. And when Overwatch came out, it was one of the only games to ever take over for that long, because it still is pretty popular as well. In the case of StarCraft IP, a bid proposal was made in such a way that it did not limit genre and content forms, which makes sense. Overwatch Mobile is the latest installment of Overwatch IP developed by Blizzard and is known as a mobile platform multiplayer-only battle arena, MOBA game genre, and is also referred to as Overwatch 3 by domestic game companies that participated in the bidding, which is interesting. It's interesting that they're not just making Overwatch 2 for mobile, they're straight up making a new game, which is interesting. And honestly, not to be like, I get it, an Overwatch MOBA game sounds like a clickbait title at this point, but honestly I think that'd do pretty well. Though before they have Heroes of the Storm, but then again, Heroes of the Storm was such a catastrophe in terms of marketing and everything like that. So yeah, I mean, I kind of get it, but we'll see how that goes. And if it's mobile specific, then we'll see how it goes. If it's mobile specific, unfortunately I probably won't be able to play it, because I do not really have a gaming mobile device. Like, I have a good phone, don't get me wrong, but like it's not the best for games. Because it was such an attractive property, the competition was fierce, but the concentration of the bidders was said to be complicated. To best use the fun of StarCraft, you need to develop it in an RTS genre, but it is not easy to make an RTS genre game that goes beyond StarCraft 2, created by Blizzard. And it's also possible to make it into a mobile MOBA or TCG genre, but in this case, it is difficult to use the IP power as much as possible. I agree with the fact that it is difficult to make something past StarCraft 2. First of all, StarCraft 2 story ends. There is an ending. There is not really enough for StarCraft 3 in terms of story, at least after. They kind of ended the story in Legacy of Void. So I'm not entirely sure what you'd go with that. And also, I'm not a huge fan of the StarCraft 2 story in terms of like that contents, but like, it did end. There is an ending, and there are things you can go for. Like, there are things you can do in the StarCraft universe to make as a good story and stuff like that. But a direct sequel to StarCraft 2, I'm not even sure where you'd go with it. Like, that's something I honestly don't know. And honestly, I don't think you should make a MOBA. I just don't think you should make a MOBA with StarCraft. Because, one, it already exists in Hero of the Storm. And the TCG, they had a crossover event with Hearthstone, with StarCraft, so that already kind of exists. Honestly, I think StarCraft would make a really good shooter. Like, the StarCraft universe would make an amazing shooter, like a co-op game, like a game that is styled like the Left 4 Dead style games, or even like something like Helldivers 2 or Deep Rock Galactic, that style of co-op game, mission-based co-op game, I think works really well in StarCraft. I think that would work well in StarCraft, considering the lore and everything, and there all the different types of factions in StarCraft as well. You don't have to worry about enemy, like a single enemy, because all the races in StarCraft have bad guys in them. So there's evil. Obviously, most of the Zerg is evil, but by the end of StarCraft 2, there are technically good guys Zergs. But like, there's bad guys for Zergs, for Zerg, Protoss, and Terran. So I think that could work as well if they're scared to make an RTS game, which I understand to be scared to make an RTS game. So I think either a third person or first person shooter would work. I just don't want them to make it multiplayer, because I don't think that would really work. I think it would be better if it's a single player / co-op game where it's mission based and you can have a good story and just fun with friends. Because I think that's one of the problems that the RTS genre has, is that it's not really a fun with friends type of genre most of the time. Some of the RTS games nowadays are trying to solve that, but the problem is that in general, it's not looked at upon as a fun with friends type of genre. So that might be the way to go, I would say. If I was the one making decisions, that's what I would do. In the case of Overwatch Mobile, the conditions proposed by Blizzard were distribution rights limited to Korea and Japan, which was not considered to be in line with the level of domestic game companies that wanted global rights. Yeah, I mean, Blizzard would never get rid of their global rights. It is reported that domestic game companies that came to bid have made various proposals, such as developing new spin-offs using StarCraft IP and developing platforms such as UGC and platform development, such as a mode using StarCraft IP. It was not immediately clear what form of bid Nexon had put forward. I mean, if it's Nexon, I really hope it's not an MMO, because I think that is literally the way to kill another StarCraft game, because I don't think a new MMO is going to do well. Even in the StarCraft universe, I honestly don't think so, but I'm also a very big downer on MMOs, so I just don't think it's going to work, but it is Nexon, so that would kind of make sense with Nexon's history. In the case of NC, it was reported that Park Byung-Mu directly directed the bidding battle and expressed his motivations. Netmarble had a bid and worked hard to carry out a new development competition for StarCraft IP, developed development against its developers. Nexon will be pushed for a global big IP that works for the Western market and has been working with Blizzard and expected to see if it can achieve a remake able results. And I am very cautionally optimistic, because I am a StarCraft fanboy. Like I said before, I will fully admit that. I still to this day watch Brood War at least, and I play StarCraft 2 co-op a bunch of the time, and I even play Brood War sometimes, but I don't play multiplayer. I'll admit, I don't play the multiplayer. I play the single player, and I play custom games against the AI, because I just don't want to. Playing Brood War hurts sometimes, and playing it online against people makes me sad because I'm bad, and I fully admit that. But I think it'd be really interesting to see a new StarCraft game in any form, anything to build up hype for the StarCraft IP, simply so that investors and the people in management can understand that a new StarCraft game can work. I think I think the management is scared, because StarCraft 2, while doing very well, wasn't a billion-dollar success like World of Warcraft and stuff like that. And that's kind of what made Activision Blizzard scared, I feel like. And you couldn't stuff StarCraft really with microtransactions. They tried eventually, but it was terrible marketing for it. And most people don't even know that StarCraft 2, you can play it free to play. Like, StarCraft 2 is technically free to play, and most people don't even know. So I think it'd be really cool for a new StarCraft game, as long as the people making the game are trying to make a good game, whatever genre it is, I will play it. And honestly, I'm kind of interested in this Overwatch mobile game. Not to play it, but I'm kind of interested to see what it is. Because if it is an Overwatch MOBA, that's interesting. And a very different type of game. So we shall see. We shall see. Thank you everyone for watching today's video. I really appreciate it. If you like to support the channel, please subscribe, like the video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, I understand. If you'd like to comment down below what you guys think about this whole Nexon getting the licensing rights for StarCraft and Overwatch, mobile game at least. I'd love to hear your opinions on it. If you'd like to follow me on other platforms, I have a Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Threads, all at the Techno Jelly. Thank you for watching today's video, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye, everyone.